There's a specific kind of pain that doesn't come from what you did, but from someone who refuses to let you outgrow it. It's when a person reaches into your past, pulls out the version of you that no longer exists, and throws it in your face as if it defines you. It's the feeling of being dragged backward into a story you've already healed from. A quiet humiliation, a silent anger, a sense of being misunderstood all over again. But here's the truth. People don't use your past against you because it's powerful. They use it because your growth is. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And when someone weaponizes your past, your response determines everything: your dignity, your boundaries, your self-respect. In this video, you'll learn 5 calm, stoic responses that instantly take back control, so no one can ever chain you to the person you used to be. 1. That version of me no longer exists. There's a particular kind of sting that hits deeper than any insult. It's the moment someone digs into your past, pulls out a mistake you've already paid for, and throws it back at you as if it's still who you are. It doesn't matter how much you've worked on yourself. It doesn't matter how many nights you stayed awake trying to grow into someone better. One sentence from them, one "remember when you," can make your chest tighten and your stomach drop. Not because you're still ashamed of it, but because you thought you were finally free of that old version of yourself. And suddenly you realize they're not even talking to you. They're talking to a memory, a version of you that died the moment you decided to change. People weaponize your past for one reason: power. If they can anchor you to your lowest point, they don't have to confront the fact that you've risen. If they can keep you feeling guilty, they don't have to acknowledge your growth. Your evolution threatens the identity they built around you, and it scares them. Not your mistakes, your progress. That's why one of the most powerful Stoic responses is simple, calm, and delivered without a tremor in your voice. That version of me no longer exists. You don't raise your voice. You don't defend yourself. You don't offer explanations to make them more comfortable. You simply state the truth. This line is powerful because it reframes the entire dynamic. You're not debating the past. You're declaring sovereignty over the present. You're telling them, without aggression, that their grip on your old identity no longer works. They're trying to argue with a ghost, and you've moved on to living as someone new. Stoicism teaches that identity is not a fixed sculpture carved by your mistakes. It is a continuous act of self-creation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have the power to define yourself at any moment." And this response is exactly that. A declaration that you've chosen who you are, not who you were forced to be. You see, the past explains you, but it does not define you. Your mistakes were teachers, not prison guards. Every painful moment became part of the architecture of your strength. You don't have to erase your past to outgrow it. You only have to stop letting people use it as chains. When you say, "That version of me no longer exists," something else happens too. The person trying to shame you realizes they've lost their leverage. They feel the door close. The emotional weapon slips out of their hands. Some people will fall silent. Others may get defensive because the tactic they always relied on suddenly stops working. But that's the cost of reclaiming your self-respect. Not everyone benefits from your growth, and still, you stay calm. Because you know who you are now, and more importantly, you know who you are no longer. You're not denying your past. You're declaring your evolution, and that is something no one can take from you again. 2. I learned from it. Have you? There is a moment in every heated conversation when the other person realizes they're running out of real arguments, and when they have nothing solid to stand on, they reach for the easiest weapon they can find: your past. They don't bring it up to understand you, to heal anything, or to resolve a problem. They bring it up because they want to win. They want control. They want the upper hand. And the fastest way to gain power in an argument is to anchor you to something you regret. That's why this line is so quietly devastating. I learned from it. Have you? 6 words. Calm, measured, but they land like a mirror being held up in front of the other person. A mirror they weren't prepared to see themselves in. This line works because it flips the entire emotional dynamic. Instead of placing you on the defensive and forcing you to explain yourself, it forces them to confront the intention behind what they're doing. It turns the attack into a question, and questions are powerful because questions make people look inward. And most people who weaponize your past are not prepared to examine themselves. You're not arguing. You're not raising your voice. You're simply inviting them to reflect. Something manipulators hate doing. People who constantly bring up your mistakes usually fall into one of 3 categories. First, those who never forgave you, even after you grew, apologized, or made amends. Second, those who secretly want you to fail again because your progress threatens the story they tell about themselves. And third, those who fear accountability, so they distract from their own flaws by highlighting yours. When you say, "I learned from it," have you? You expose that discomfort without attacking them. You shift the spotlight. You interrupt the psychological pattern they rely on: guilt, control, superiority. Stoics understood this power well. Seneca wrote, "Every wrong done is but a chance to learn." The wise person grows from their mistakes. The small-minded person uses the mistakes of others as ammunition. This line is your declaration that you fall into the first group, the ones who grow. It also subtly communicates something else. The past is not the problem anymore. Their behavior is. Because if someone keeps bringing up something you've already taken responsibility for, they're not trying to heal anything. They're trying to hurt you. They're using the past as a cage, not a lesson. But with this one sentence, you step out of the cage entirely. This question forces their mind to switch from attack mode to introspection, even if just for a brief second. And that second is enough to interrupt the emotional manipulation. It's enough to make them hesitate. It's enough to make them realize that you are no longer participating in the old dynamic where you shrink under your own history. And maybe, just maybe, it reminds them that they have lessons to learn too. Because growth shared is growth doubled. But growth weaponized is immaturity exposed. So the next time someone tries to drag you backward into a version of yourself you've already outgrown, don't argue, don't justify, and don't fold under the weight of their narrative. Just ask the question that cuts through everything. I learned from it. Have you? Let the silence after that question speak for you. 3. If you want to talk about it, let's speak as adults, not as enemies. There's a moment in every conflict when things stop being about the issue at hand and start becoming a contest of dominance. You can feel it, the shift in tone, the sharpness in their voice, the way they suddenly lean on your past because they've run out of present-day points to stand on. In that moment, the goal is no longer understanding, it's control, it's emotional victory. It's turning the conversation into a battlefield where the loudest, harshest words win. And that's precisely why this line is so disarming, so grounding, and so powerful. If you want to talk about it, let's speak as adults, not as enemies. When you say this, something profound happens. You remove the fuel, you remove the drama, and you challenge the other person to rise to a higher level of communication. A level they weren't expecting and often aren't prepared for. Most people aren't used to maturity being the counterattack. They expect defensiveness. They expect excuses. They expect an emotional explosion. Instead, you offer composure. You're not denying the past. You're not avoiding the conversation. You're simply refusing to engage in it at a childish, hostile, or manipulative level. You're choosing dignity over chaos, and that choice exposes theirs. This line forces an emotional reset. If the other person truly wants resolution, the sentence invites them toward it. But if they only want a fight, this line reveals that intention instantly. It becomes clear whether the person in front of you is invested in healing or invested in hurting. Stoicism teaches that anger is a mask worn by insecurity, fear, and a lack of control over one's own emotions. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When someone uses your past as a weapon, they are not in mastery, they are in reaction. They are trying to provoke you because provocation is easier than vulnerability. And in their mind, winning the argument matters more than repairing the relationship. Your calmness disrupts that. When you say, "Let's speak as adults, not as enemies," you reveal that you are not stepping into the emotional mud with them. You're remaining on your ground, the ground of clarity, self-respect, and emotional discipline. It also sends a deeper message. If you want a connection, I'm here. If you want conflict, you'll have to fight alone. This is where the real psychological power lies. Manipulators need participation. Aggressive communicators need resistance. People who weaponize your past need your emotional reaction to validate their tactic. When you refuse to play the game collapses. This line also protects your dignity. Instead of arguing about the accuracy of the past or the fairness of their comments, you shift the conversation to the present. What kind of conversation are we having right now? That is a question many people never ask, and even fewer want to answer, because it forces accountability, and accountability is kryptonite to those who prefer blame. So the next time someone turns a conversation into a battleground, take a breath, steady your voice, and remind them and yourself that you are not here to fight for your worth. You're here to communicate with maturity. Say it clearly, say it calmly, and let the weight of the words settle. If you want to talk about it, let's speak as adults, not as enemies. Anyone who truly respects you will rise to meet that standard. Anyone who doesn't reveals exactly who they are. 4. My past explains me, but it doesn't limit me. There's a quiet strength in acknowledging your past without letting it define you. Most people think that if you admit your mistakes, you lose power. But in reality, the opposite is true. Only someone who has faced their own history, without running from it, without hiding from it, can speak about it with calm authority. And yet, when someone tries to use your past against you, their intention isn't understanding. Their intention is restriction. They want to confine you, contain you, shrink you back into a version of yourself that you've already outgrown. They want to keep you in a box because it's easier for them if you stay predictable, small, and familiar. That's why this line is so elegant and so disarming. My past explains me, but it doesn't limit me. It's not defensive. It's not angry. It doesn't deny the truth. It puts the truth in its proper place. This sentence acknowledges reality without surrendering to it. It says, yes, that happened. Yes, I did things I regret, things I've learned from, things I had to grow through. But those moments are chapters, not chains. Lessons, not labels. They shaped me, but they do not imprison me. People who weaponize your past often misunderstand something fundamental, that growth isn't about erasing who you were. It's about transcending who you were. Stoicism teaches exactly this. The Stoics believed that every difficulty, every mistake, every fall was raw material for transformation. They called it amor fati, the love of one's fate. Not because every event is good, but because every event can become good when it is used wisely. So when you say, my past explains me, but it doesn't limit me, you're expressing the Stoic worldview in one graceful sentence. You're saying, I'm not ashamed of my journey, and I'm not defined by it either. It's a balance, a calm, dignified middle ground that stops manipulation without creating conflict. This line also puts emotional responsibility back where it belongs. If someone keeps dragging up your past, that's not about your character. That's about their inability to update their understanding of you. It reveals that they're stuck in a story you've already outgrown. They're clinging to an outdated image of you because your evolution threatens their expectations. Your progress forces them to confront their stagnation, and that's uncomfortable for people who prefer that everyone stay the same. When you deliver this line, do it slowly, without hesitation. Let it land. Because what you're truly saying is, I honor where I've been, but I choose where I'm going. And that is something no critic, no manipulator, no person who clings to your past can ever take from you. The psychological power of this statement lies in its clarity. You are not debating facts. You are not arguing the accuracy of what happened years ago. You are simply declaring that the past is not the compass guiding your identity anymore. It's a page in the book, not the title of the book. So the next time someone tries to hold your past over your head, breathe deeply, hold your ground, and say the line that both acknowledges your humanity and asserts your evolution. My past explains me, but it doesn't limit me. Anyone who respects your growth will hear you. Anyone who doesn't was never interested in your growth to begin with. 5. If you keep using my past against me, this conversation ends. Here, there comes a point in every toxic pattern where you stop asking for understanding and start enforcing boundaries. Not as a threat, not as a dramatic walkout, but as a simple recognition of what you will and will not allow in your life anymore. When someone repeatedly drags your past into the present, even after you've taken responsibility, even after you've healed, even after you've grown, they aren't looking for truth. They're looking for control. And nothing disrupts that control more powerfully than a calm, final line like this. If you keep using my past against me, this conversation ends here. This isn't an argument. This isn't a negotiation. This is a declaration of your emotional sovereignty. People who constantly weaponize your past often rely on one psychological assumption: that you'll stay there and take it, that you'll keep explaining, that you'll keep defending yourself, that you'll keep trying to convince them you've changed. But when you say this line, you break the pattern instantly. You make it clear that you will not participate in conversations built on shame, manipulation, or old narratives meant to restrict who you're allowed to be. Stoicism teaches that we do not control the behavior of others. We control our response, our posture, our boundaries. And boundaries are not walls of anger, they are lines of clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always retain the option of not having an opinion." In modern terms, it means you always retain the option to walk away from what is unworthy of your energy. This sentence is the embodiment of that principle. It communicates several things at once. You are done entertaining emotional weapons. You are not obligated to keep talking just because they want to keep attacking. You will no longer give them the satisfaction of watching you try to justify yourself. Your peace matters more than their need to win. It's powerful because it puts the responsibility back on their behavior, not on your past. If they choose respect, the conversation continues. If they choose manipulation, the conversation ends. Simple, clear, unshakable. This line also reveals a deeper truth. People who respect you will adjust. People who don't will escalate. And that's the beauty of this boundary. It exposes intentions with absolute clarity. Someone who truly cares will take a breath, soften their tone, and re-enter the conversation with maturity. Someone who doesn't will show you exactly why you needed the boundary in the first place. And when they escalate, you don't. You do not match their volume. You do not match their anger. You do not match their chaos. You simply end the conversation and walk away with dignity intact. Because walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting, not every comment deserves energy, and not every relationship deserves unlimited access to you. You're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to refuse old labels. You are allowed to remove yourself from conversations that exist only to harm you. So when someone refuses to acknowledge your growth, refuses to stop using your past as a weapon, refuses to speak to you with respect, you look them in the eye, steady, calm, unmoved. And you say, if you keep using my past against me, this conversation ends here. Then you let your silence finish the rest. 6. Why people use your past against you. There's a painful truth most people never say out loud. When someone keeps bringing up your past, it's rarely about you. It's about them. Your past becomes a weapon in their hands because of what it reveals about their fears, their insecurities, their ego, not your character. Understanding this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does free you from internalizing it. The first reason people weaponize your past is simple. Your growth exposes their stagnation. When you evolve, when you mature, when you rise beyond who you used to be, it forces people around you to confront their own lack of progress. Some won't celebrate you, because celebrating you would mean admitting they haven't moved. So they pull you back, not because they see you accurately, but because they need to feel comfortable in their own unchanged lives. If you stay small, they don't have to face themselves. The second reason is even more common. They want power in the moment. A person who lacks emotional intelligence will reach for whatever gives them the upper hand. The past is easy to use because it can't be changed, can't be argued, and can't be undone. It's the perfect tool for someone who wants to dominate the conversation without doing any real work. When they say, "Well, you've done this before," what they mean is, "I don't know how to win this argument honestly." Weaponizing the past becomes a shortcut to victory. A cheap one, but still a victory in their mind. The third reason is painful, but real. Some people only know you as who you were, not who you've become. Their mental version of you is outdated, frozen in time. They haven't updated their understanding because updating it would require effort. Effort to listen, effort to observe, effort to respect your transformation. It's easier for them to keep you in an old box than to learn who you are now. But someone's refusal to see your growth doesn't diminish it. It merely exposes their limited perspective. The fourth reason is rooted in insecurity. People attack what intimidates them: your improvement, your maturity, your emotional control. These things can make others feel small or threatened. If they can drag you back into old narratives, they can protect their ego. They can keep the power dynamic familiar. They can pretend you haven't surpassed them in discipline, insight, or self-awareness. It's not your past they fear. It's your evolution. And then there's the most difficult reason of all. Some people benefit from you being wounded. As long as you're apologizing, defending, explaining, shrinking, they feel safe. They feel superior. They feel justified. They use your history as a leash because they know you're the kind of person who actually cares, who actually reflects, who actually grows. Ironically, your emotional responsibility becomes their tool of manipulation. Stoicism teaches that people act from their own judgments, not from truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Consider the source." When you do, everything becomes clearer. Someone who keeps dragging you backward is terrified of the person you're becoming. But here is the liberating realization. Their motives don't have to become your burden. You don't have to carry their projections. You don't have to absorb their insecurity. You don't have to let their inability to evolve define your identity. Your past may explain you, but it does not control you. Their behavior may reveal them, but it does not reduce you. And understanding why they use your past against you is the moment you stop taking it personally and start taking back your power. At some point, you have to decide who owns your story: the people who keep dragging you backward, or the person you are becoming. Because the truth is this: your past will always exist, but it doesn't have to define a single moment of your present. You're not meant to stay trapped inside old chapters just because someone else refuses to turn the page. When people use your past against you, they reveal far more about themselves than about you. They reveal insecurity, fear, immaturity, or an unwillingness to evolve. But you're not obligated to stay small just to make them comfortable. You're not required to carry versions of yourself you've already outgrown. You're allowed to become someone new, someone wiser, calmer, stronger. That is the heart of Stoic philosophy. You are shaped by your past, but you are defined by your choices. And every time you respond with calm strength instead of emotional chaos, you reclaim the authorship of your identity. Remember this: you do not owe anyone endless explanations. You do not need to defend progress to people who refuse to see it. You do not have to remain in conversations that exist only to wound you. If someone insists on speaking to the old you, let them. You don't have to join them there. The person you've become is under no obligation to meet them in the ruins of who you once were. The responses in this video are not weapons. They are boundaries. They are reminders that your dignity is yours to protect, your evolution is yours to honor, and your inner peace is yours to guard. Stoicism teaches us that the world may not always treat you fairly, but you can always treat yourself with clarity and respect. So walk forward with confidence. Let your growth speak louder than their judgment, and the next time someone uses your past against you, remember, their power ends where your self-awareness begins. You are not who you were. You are who you choose to become today and every day after.